Hello and welcome to Qatar, the Lusail International Motocross Circuit, with me, Paul Malin, for what is the first round of the 2014 FIM Motocross Grand Prix of Qatar and the opening round of the FIM WMX World Championship. Temperature about 22 degrees outside at present, but it's been very, very windy all day long here. But the circuit, more lit than it was 12 months ago, and we're almost getting ready to go racing. Before we do anything though, quick look at the circuit. Quite a long start straight and a very wide first turn, just under 1,600 meters long, and as we said, under artificial light, once again here in Qatar. That's the start list of the riders that are going to be taking part. And it's Megan Rutledge who has been fastest all weekend long. She was fastest in the free practice by a considerable margin, almost 3 seconds over Olivier Lancelot of France. And Chiara Fontanesi, the defending champion, was third with Van der Veen during the time training session. These are the positions that you were looking at on screen now. It was, as you just saw, Megan Rutledge from Olivier Lancelot, but Lancelot getting it down to just under a second between her and the Australian. Chiara Fontanesi goes to line third, Natalie Kane fourth, Nancy Van der Veen will go to
International
line
circuit for what will be the first ever women's night race. We're going to have a word with our fastest lady on track yesterday. That was Megan Rutledge. Megan, it's been a bit of a tough start to the year for you though, right?
Yeah, it definitely has. I broke my ankle 4 weeks ago, so I've had no preparation coming into this round. Just had to go out there.
Jeez, and what do you think of the night race?
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I've done night race before, but I've never done motocross, so it's a common thing for me, and I can't wait to get out there.
And this year, the women's calendar will run all the way next to the GP calendar. I guess that's a really good thing for you.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. Like, I have fellow Australians, Todd Waters and Luke Slack, so to be alongside those guys really close is really great for me.
Thanks, Megan. Best of luck out there. Right, that's all from us down here on the start line.
Yeah, pretty difficult just to catch a word of Megan Rutledge there, but she did break a leg just a few weeks ago. The doctors told her 8 weeks. She's back on a bike in 4 and she's riding through the pain barrier. And I was watching on the quad jump, which is coming into the final turn on this Lusail International Motocross Circuit. And she did case it 1 or 2 times in the first free practice session. I thought, wow, if you're carrying an injury, obviously you don't want to be having that kind of shortcoming on some of the jumps around this circuit, but it's definitely not been holding her back, the young Australian. That was done just before their warm-up lap, and as you can see, the sighting lap, sorry, as you can see, the women just making their way back. Live images now. Pretty good atmosphere here, actually, at this Lusail International Motocross Circuit. Remember, we came here about 12 months ago, almost to the day. And in terms of where we are, state of Qatar, it's about a third of the size of Belgium. There's Chiara Fontanesi just getting some last-minute word. She had a crash yesterday in time training. Rang her bell a little bit, banged her hand around as well, but again in the warm-up this afternoon didn't look too bad, so it'll be interesting to see what the defending champion can do. Of course, we've got the Fox Holshot Awards to look forward to as well in MX2 and MXGP a little later on, but we'll still call it. Whoever crosses the stripe first is WMX. Well, we are situated about halfway up the western shore of the Arabian Gulf, almost completely surrounded by sea, bordering Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates in the south, Bahrain in the northwest. And as you'd expect, a desert climate for this part of the world, hot summers, warm winters, but it had rain yesterday after the MX2 time training and also after the MX1 time training session. He's going to have a busy night, trying to keep that thing clean because, as we said, very, very dusty, very, very windy out on track, and the loose desert sands on the infield will be kicking up quite a storm. And he's going to be there earning every single of what is being paid, that's for sure, that guy. Previous Grand Prix held here, of course, last year was the first time we came here. First ever MX1 Grand Prix as it was then, but of course it's all MXGP now. More of that a little later on. Of course, it was a historic day in the history of the Motocross World Championship itself. Olivier Lancelot there on the 114 Kawasaki. She's going to be looking to try and do something about the very fast Australian Megan Rutledge. So let's just give you another rundown in terms of the start list and how the girls will line up. Give you some times as well. Megan Rutledge The Australian on the Kawasaki at 2:02.2. That was the warm-up this morning. Livia Lancelo, 2:02.404. So getting closer to the Australian. And Lancelo, of course, rode here last year with the MX2 guys. There was a 108% rule as well, so she failed to qualify due to the outright speed of Jeffrey Hurlings. But as you can see, the riders making their way down to the line. Firing up here with number 66, Megan Rutledge of Australia. And she's not necessarily going to the very inside gate. So Megan Rutledge, Bud Racing Kawasaki. Livia Lancelo going to try and go down the inside of her, get a good jump, and so she can hold the advantage around the inside. Chiara Fontanesi will go to the line third on the Yamaha, riding number 8, and she is the defending champion, 2-time world champion now. Chiara Fontanesi, the girl there, number 85, Nancy van der Ven. There is Fontanesi, the defending world champion. Megan Rutledge finished 2nd overall last year. Steffi Lai was 3rd. She's here as well. Steffi Lai is 6th in time training, riding Suzuki this weekend. So lining up to the line, and there's Natalie Kane on the HM Plan KTM UK. So Rutledge, Lancelo, Fontanesi, Kane, there were your top 4 in time training. Nancy van der Ven was 5th of the Netherlands, number 85. Steffi Lai, 110 on the Suzuki, was 6th. Larissa Picotto was 7th, riding the number 423 Suzuki of Germany. Marianne Veenstra of the Netherlands on the Husqvarna, riding 149, was 8th. 9th was Justine Charroux, the French girl on the Yamaha, and Francesca Nocera, who was 10th, riding the 116 Suzuki. Jeanette Vage had a big crash from Norway in the time training, over the handlebars. Looked a lot worse than it was, but banged her arm, nothing broken, so we should see her out on track. In fact, see if she went out in the warm-up this afternoon, and yes, she did, and was 8th fastest, so no lasting problems there for the Norwegian Jeanette Vage, under the watchful eye of Kenneth Gunderson, former Grand Prix winner himself, of course. Anne Borchers of the Netherlands, 111, lines up 12th, ahead of Joanna Miller, number 19, Sarah Pettersson, Emily Dahl, Lucy Simonova, 193 there of Kimberly Braun, Virginie Gaumond, Ekaterina Gurieva, Samantha Josta, Victoria Muller, and Teresa Fromkova of the Czech Republic.
What is the best tactic to ride round? This is quite firm underneath, but we'll see as the evening progresses. Dusty Barkley done a fantastic job on the circuit as ever.
So,
some enormous jumps over the far side.
Almost everybody on the line. Girls, of course, back on the World Championship calendar alongside MXGP and MX2, as they were in the early stages when it was officially a first World Championship from 2008, 9 and 10, of course. The last 2 years, 12, 11, 12, 13 really, being alongside MX3, now defunct, of course. So it will be a good opportunity for these girls to motivate themselves and get themselves in the right frame of mind and look forward for a great season of FIM Women's Motocross World Championship action. Saw Eddie Hurd there just a moment ago, just trying to hold that flag up, trying to get it up. Right, 15-second board, turns to 5. The gate is about to drop here. And away we go. And into the first turn, it is the Australian Megan Rutledge. Rounding out the first, and somebody goes down, Natalie Kane, I think, and it's a very precarious position to go down as well. She was feeling sick before she came here, carrying some kind of virus. Oh no, she's there, upright, on the right-hand side in the white and blue, Natalie Kane, 44, so it wasn't her that went down. So we'll bring you confirmation of who that was then in just a moment, still picking herself up in the background though. But everybody going through, looks like Papameyer in second, well, Picotto in second, Van der Ven might be third, yes. Fontanesi then Kane in 5th position, so Picotto here, 4:23, still, well, Picotto in the program, Papameyer on the timing screen, of course she married a couple of years ago. A lot of water gone down, as I said. A lot of wind out on the circuit today, blowing in from the right-hand side of the girls, sometimes blowing in towards the monster sign there on the bridge, but it's very, very difficult conditions out there. Hard and slick as well underneath, unusually. Last year was a lot softer. The bumps were a lot softer and more rounded, but getting herself over the step in the middle of the circuit. See the water just filling the puddles. Here's the 66 of Megan Rutledge, working her way a couple of corners from the finish line area to cross the line for the first time. Remember, they don't register until they've done an official full lap, so it's going to be finish line to finish line for these. But over the Alpha Dun automobiles, scrub hill in the background. That's a quad jump, but double-double for the majority of the girls. But Megan Rutledge about to cross the line for the very first time here in 2014. As she looks to improve on that second place in the championship from last year. So Rutledge, Papenmeier, Fontanesi, Van der Ven, Kane, they top 5. Steffi Lyer is in 6th position. 7th is Nocera. Livia Lancelot is 8th. 9th is Anne Borchers. 10th, Jeanette Badge. Virginie Gaumont, Marianne Venstra, Kimberly Brahm, Justine Charroux, Lucy Simonova, Samantha Yoster, Emily Dahl, Joanna Muller, Ekaterina Gurieva, and Teresa Hrumkova. They're your top 20. There's Papenmeier, Pokoto. Through the first time, very slick through there yesterday it was. Throttle control going to be absolutely paramount. Joining us live on MXGPTV.com. Live and exclusive for this women's race. Round 1 of the FIM WMX Motocross World Championship. Just there, look, Chiara Fontanesi in yellow. The defending champion, number 8. She's in 3rd place, that's her there. 4th, Nancy Van der Ven, the younger sister of the former very fast 85cc Dutch wonder kid, Rinus Van der Ven. Oh, and Kane just losing traction right at an inopportune moment. Almost going down there, just got swatched from side to side, and she did well to rescue that. So, nervous moments for Chiara Fontanesi. She knows that Megan Rutledge has been fast all weekend long. Replay of the start. Who was it that went down here? 32, I think it might have been. Keep an eye on that. Yeah, right in the middle of the screen, Sarah Pettersson. So it's Pettersson that went down. She's outside the top 20 at the moment. Rutledge, though, out dragging the Yamaha number 8 of Chiara Fontanesi. And grabbed the foxhole shot. You can see there already Pettersson starting to go down. And if she did get hit from behind, obviously nothing nobody can do about it. So over the finish line jump, the first official lap complete then. And therefore the fastest lap of the race so far to 11.685 for Megan Rutledge. Time training was 1:57, so considerably slower the track today. Of course, they were out first on track yesterday, so each session was a little bit smoother before that. The Australian really letting it hang out through here, trying to keep it nice and tight through there. Bit of a panic rev over the first single into turn 2 and immediately into the 91-metre long wave section. Goes round through the turns. It's a very long turn 2. Need to get straight up on the fat part of the tyre through there.
1.8 seconds, please.
Papenmeier, though, up into 2nd position. On that yellow Suzuki, 3rd. Fontanesi still trying to close her down. Here, the little 2-stroke 125 Yamaha. Nancy Van der Ven, number 85, just behind them. In 4th place, Natalie Kane, HM Plant KTM, about another second further back. In 5th position, Natalie Kane cruelly robbed of potential medal last year at the final round of the World Championship in Slovakia. She was fastest, but she had a crash. She knocked herself up out of it and wasn't cleared to ride on medical grounds. Had to go to the hospital first, so that meant she missed the first race and lost a load of points, and then came back to win the second one by an absolute country mile. So she argued that she wasn't in a bad way, but the doctors on course argued differently. But can't change the past, unfortunately, and Natalie Kane dropped to 4th place in the championship as a result of that. So another rider looking to get through this Qatar round. of the Women's Motocross World Championship. Chiara Fontanesi having to work extremely hard to find a way past the 4:23 here of Larissa Pampamaya and Koto. Over the quad just before the finish turn. Rutledge already over the line now, 2:08, so she calls a good lap time back, 2:08.8. Much more respectable time, but a 2:12 for Pampamaya, and Fontanesi goes through in a second place. But 8.7 seconds down, 9 seconds down. Fontanesi on the leader, but she's going to want to throw the hammer down now. Wanted to win every race in every GP last year, but came short. Eventually, won both races in the Netherlands, in Slovenia and Italy. Won the first one at Massey Basin. Took a third in the second moto. Won the next two in the Czech Republic, but then was third and second, riding with an injury at the final round in Slovakia. So 3 races where she failed to win last year. Number 8 there, Chiara Fontanesi. While she would love to win every moto this year, she's starting a little bit injured, and also having to deal with a very fast Australian Megan Rutledge. So might have to reassess those goals if she's not to win this first moto. Still got 12:40 on the clock, plus 2 laps of course. Championship will always come first. For anybody competing in a world championship at the high, at this level. Still have to see how hard and slick it is underneath. Unfortunately, the girls are the guinea pigs for the MXGP guys that will go out shortly after this moto. You still see the back end just switching from side to side as she's asking just a little bit too much of that rear wheel. Fontanesi now up into second, the yellow flash of Suzuki there. Pampamaya in third, Van der Ven still fourth, Kate still fifth, about 3 seconds further back now, the Dutch girl. Steffi Lyer in 6th position. Only had one time on this bike before she came out here, had an operation at the top of her thigh not too long ago. Oh, and Fontanesi goes down, loses the front end. So Fontanesi losing positions here. A lazy crash in the end for the Italian. Picks herself up, but is that Steffi Lyer gone by? Yeah, 1:10. So, and Livia Lanslow just behind. Nocera also there. So just tried to square off the turn, caught the hard edge of the rut, and just went down. So obviously not in a great place at the moment in this first race. Chiara Fontanesi maybe just trying a little bit too hard to be creative with the lines, to do something about closing down Megan Rutledge. So that hands the advantage back to Larissa Pampamaya for Koto. Immediately found a way past Livia Lanslow though. Going after, is that Steffi Lyer just ahead of her? No, Nocera, I think. Here's Lyer in your screen now, in the yellow UFO pants. Frankie Nocera, 1:16. Just heading off the number 8, Chiara Fontanesi. First round of the World Championship as well. Don't forget, there's Livia Lanslow looking to have a look at the inside. And succeeds in making a pass as well. So Fontanesi in a real battle here. Gets better drive through the wave section though. Strange that Fontanesi, front number plate, rattling all over the place. Maybe Lancelot's front plate is already on. Fontanesi on the right-hand side, looking to find a way past Frankie Nocera on the 1:16. Over on the far side of the circuit, coming out of time 5 under the Epone banner. Off cambered, this next left-hander doesn't look it. This next right here is the turn where Tixier crashed last year. Before the big step up over the backside of the circuit. Braking very hard on the downside just to get into that right-hand turn. Steffi Lyer just leaving these girls behind. There's Nocera, 1:16. Steffi Lyer, former 3-time world champion, of course. World Cup winner before it was classified officially as World Cup status. Sheikh Abdullah bin Khalifa Al Thani. Looking on from the VIP section, more infield this time around. So great view from there. A lot of the team managers watching from there yesterday, walking around from side to side, getting an aerial view of the circuit. Special advisor to the Amir, no less. Is that Van der Ven? Van der Ven looks to have found a way past Makoto. But she has. Well, Makoto came over the line in second just then. With 85, Nancy Van der Ven just in front of us now. Coming over the line and finding a way past Larissa Papameyer-Makoto. So he goes into second. So third now is Papameyer-Makoto. Here's your race leader, Megan Rutledge. Clear of the competition. It'll be interesting to see exactly the situation behind Megan Rutledge. Our race leader here. Probably finding it difficult to believe how easy she's having it at the moment. All of her rivals falling by the wayside. The closest of which, Natalie Kane in fourth position. As Giuseppe Luongo, the U3 president, looks on.
In 2012, went back to Australia.
My second, dropping to third. Van der Ven now second. Kane fourth. Laya fifth. Chera sixth, Fontanesi seventh, but we did see Livia Anselo make a pass right at the start of that lap through turn 2. Porter's 9, Jeanette Varge is 10. Megan Rutledge on the Bud Racing Kawasaki, no one challenging her at all. Fastest lap to 2:08.8 on the second lap, and everybody else 3 or 4 seconds slower. So here's Van der Ven. Waters now. Getting ready to cross the line. Van der Ven in second. The yellow Suzuki and Papameyer third. Natalie Kane all over the back of her in fourth place. Has found a way. Right, is that Laya closing in? Might be, you know. So Van der Ven, oh yes, Natalie Kane in third now. So Kane third. And Makoto dropping down to fourth position. Steffi Laya in fifth. Fontanesi back in sixth place. Lancelo 7, Nachera 8, Borges 9. Waiting for her to come over the line. Nancy Van der Ven. Looks pretty small on that 125 two-stroke Yamaha, but she's quite a stocky character. Pretty strong as well, up to training game during the winter. And Natalie Kane in third place on an HF Bank KTM UK, number 44. Probably going to be the second rider in shot just behind the white Yamaha here for the Dutch girl, Van der Ven. There she is. Natalie Kane, I spoke to her on Thursday afternoon. A little bit croaky, as if she'd just woken up, and I said, "You're not sick, are you?" She said, "Yeah, I am. Sick for a few days. Not had any seat time before she came here, so she's doing a great job at the moment. Might be the best race of the day for her, or the best race of the night for her. She's got to make it count while she can." But Steffi Laya, a seasoned professional, in fifth position, closing in on these girls, and number 110 on that Suzuki. There is Laya. Single into the big step up. That's the Kane, just there. 2 Germans there then, 423. Papameyer-Makoto and Steffi Laya. Steffi Laya looking to pick off her fellow compatriot. Looking at the track this morning, or this afternoon I should say, during the warm-up sessions. The ground a lot harder than it has been. Very reminiscent of the circuit of Fermo in Italy in terms of the rocky nature of the ground, the colour of it, and the slick nature with the high winds and higher temperatures that we've had this year. Riders just struggling to get to grips as Natalie Kane goes around the outside on that 250 KTM, got the inside line and makes the move stick into the final corner before rejoining on the jump on the start straight. So Kane now into second position on the number 44 KTM. Van der Ven third. Great while it lasted, but she could still fight back, you know, 4:20 on the clock. In this race, 25 minutes plus 2 laps, so around about 30 minutes. These girls are going to be racing for yellow flags. Rutledge 13 seconds clear. Might have been Teresa Rumkova, number 14, just going down there a moment ago. Outside of the top 20. Natalie Kane really having to dig deep. Girl from Northern Ireland. Difficult circuit conditions this evening. Although the winds have dropped considerably since we arrived here around lunchtime today, it's still pretty blustery out there. But doing a good job in second, pulling away from Nancy van der Ven in third now. This girl here, number 44, Natalie Kane, in second position. Over the tabletop. Takes the girls to turn 11, turn 12 over Scrub Hill here, and over the quad, double-double into the final corner, and this will be to complete lap 7. Megan Rutledge already over the line, the 2:09.9 last time around. Natalie Kane took her that time. Her fastest and the fastest lap of the race at 2:08.5, so 13.6 seconds separate Rutledge and Natalie Kane now in second position. Takes a look over to see where Rutledge is. Probably would have seen her just heading into turn 1, and there she is. Now into turn 2, flashing by in yellow. Our race leader through the wave section, dropping down to turn 3, just here.
There she is, there is our leader.
So the book racing Kawasaki of 66, Megan Rutledge. Barely putting her foot wrong. Rutledge, though, sets the fastest sector of the race in section 1. So Van der Ven third, Koto 4, Laya 5th, Fontanese 6th, and Enslow 7th. 27.5 seconds down on Megan Rutledge, our race leader. Time training though yesterday, Megan Rutledge. First flying lap into turn 8, so she lost the front end into this corner here yesterday. Not this one, after the iPhone. There's Livia Lancelot. 114 Kawasaki, running her own team this year, Livia Lancelot. This corner here where Gara Fontanese, that's where Megan Rutledge fell yesterday. She's lost the front end on the gas, as I say, ran about a second quicker than everybody else yesterday in time training. So just pushing that a little bit hard. What about the 811 of Jeanette Vard? She fell big time over the first of the big monster jumps in turn 5 over the handlebars for her yesterday, but doing a great job down in 12th position, the young 16-year-old, 17-year-old. On the bus this morning with Livia Lancelot, she said that the track conditions different to last year. Obviously last year a lot softer, a little bit muddier, bumps are a lot softer, more rounded. This year seemed to be a little bit more square. You see the dirt kicking off there, how it's being blown off to the right side of the track there. Gives you some indication how strong the wind is blowing. There's going to be 3 laps to go then. Rutledge not taking any chances. That gap opening up that time around. Her personal best lap of the race at 2:08.7. 2/10 slower than the fastest lap of the race. Natalie Kane a lap to go. Kane dropping some time that time around at 2:10.3, 15 seconds down now. 3 seconds clear of Van der Ven though. Still nothing in it though between Hampmeyer, Koto and Steffi Lye in 4th and 5th, about a second or so, something like that. It's that tricky off-cambered left-hander around the, just after the opponent bridge. Especially fell yesterday. Megan Rutledge, handful of front brake, lost the front end, went down, kept the engine running though. See how choppy those bumps are, those braking bumps coming into the insides. Hard, loose and stony when it dries out as well, so a lot for the riders to think about. during the course of the evening. We're all action right the way through till midnight here, local time, 3 hours ahead of European UK time, Central European time, we're 2 hours ahead of. So a long night ahead for everybody. Then, of course, the flight cases have to be packed because the travel company coming to collect around about 4 o'clock in the morning, bearing in mind the last race will finish, MXGP race 2 will finish around about 1/4 to midnight, 10 to midnight, something like that tonight. Teams and mechanics from MXGP and MX2, as we hit the 2-lap board, will be stripping those bikes down, packing those cases exactly the same way they flew over here, because they head off to Thailand tomorrow morning, which is obviously going to be the second round of the MXGP and MX2 World Championship. So a long night in store, but if you're winning, as Megan Rutledge currently is at the moment, it will seem like it's flying by. So Megan Rutledge did win a race, the final round, and that was her first race win of her career, because she did the final round in Germany at Teuschertal in 2012, where she pushed Livia Lancelot and Chiara Fontanesi all the way, came in with blazing speed. But mostly consistent throughout the year last year. Seconds and thirds, the norm, apart from when she crashed out on the opening lap in Italy at Maggiora, fell to 9th place on the Sunday. 3rd and 2nd in Massey Basin, 5th and a 2nd at Czech Republic, and a win and a 3rd in Slovakia, St. Vicek. So this would be her second career race victory for Megan Rutledge, if she hangs on for the next lap and a half or so. But look at this, Nancy van der Ven, the battle for 3rd place. Natalie Kane making sure she's freed herself from that to the tune of around about 3 seconds on that number 44 HM Plan KTM UK machine. Down in 5th for the first couple of laps, but tricky conditions early on, hard and slick, very wet. And that's another thing, I was talking to Marion Veenstra and Larissa Koto this morning as well, around about lunchtime, and asking them how they found the track, obviously on their first visit. They just said, yeah, you know, riding under the lights is different, but also you can't see where the soft patches are as Koto loses a place now. Drops down to 5th as Steffi Lai, the 110 goes through in the 4th on the Suzuki. Rutledge already on her final lap. Natalie Kane coming over line now. 16 seconds clear. She's 2 clear of Nancy van der Ven, who was quicker and a personal best on that 10th tour. So too Steffi Lai with a 2:09.6. Rutledge having a moment there with the helmet, just trying to readjust it. So I'm just wondering whether she's landed heavily off the jump. Just trying to reposition it. Just needs to keep it up on 2 wheels now, just maintain her focus. The confident but quietly spoken Australian is almost home and dry here in Qatar. The opening race, round 1 of the FIM WMX Motocross World Championship season in this Losail International Circuit. Great that we're here. All of the FIM officials and the president of the QMMF, the Qatar Motorcycle Federation, talking about equality, giving the women the same rights as the men in the Motocross World Championship. Obviously, giving off every opportunity in this 6-round series to show the rest of the world what they can do. A couple of corners to go then for the number 66 Australian, Megan Rutledge. The battle though for 3rd position still hotly contested between van der Ven, Laya and Pampamaya. Fontanesi down in 6th, Lancelot 7th. Final turn though, number 66, Megan Rutledge on the mud racing Kawasaki. The checkered flag awaits, and it is a comfortable win in the end then for Megan Rutledge. She punches the air with delight And it's a big 25 points for the girl who 4 weeks ago, when she broke a leg, wasn't even sure if she'd make the trip, but Kane over the line there in second. Oh, Van der Ven has a moment right on the face of the tabletop to finish line jump. The Monster Energy jump, but she gets over the line in third. And Laya comes home in fourth, with Pampamaya Pikoto in fifth place. So confirmation then unofficially. Rutledge, your winner, Natalie Kane second, Van der Ven third, Laya fourth, Koto Pampamaya in fifth, Fontanesi in sixth, Livia Lancelo seventh, Lachera eighth. As we look at a replay of your winner, Megan Rutledge, crossing the line, victorious in the first race, first round of the FIM Women's Motocross World Championship here at Lusail in Qatar.
Megan Rutledge, one race down and an absolutely comfortable lead there. I bet you're pleased with that.
Yeah, I'm really happy. I can't thank Bud Racing Kawasaki enough. They sent me out with a really good bike this year, and you know, I hadn't rode it before this weekend, and I just had to get used to it, and I'm really loving it. My ankle's holding up pretty good, so yeah, I'm stoked.
Well done, great job in race one.
Thank you.
Big thumbs up then for Megan Rutledge as she comes over the line, victorious in Moto number 1 here in Qatar. Made it look easy as well, so based on what we've seen so far, be a pretty brave person to bet against the Australian, making it a double, a perfect weekend, and of course, with that, she'll be looking at picking up her first double victory, and she will leave here with the red plate, but still plenty of laps. 11 completed in race 1. Probably be about the same again in Moto number 2. So Rutledge then heads off, as do the rest of the girls, to get their bikes jet washed off and get themselves focused for their second race a little later on. Recap then what happened in WMX race 1, a flying start for the 66 of Megan Rutledge, edging out the number 8 of Chiara Fontanesi, Pampamaya Pikoto, and Livia Lancelo as well, and Natalie Kane. There were a couple of fallers in there, one of them being Sarah Pedersen, and the other one being the 555 of Emilie Dahl. Fontanesi had a few moments, one of them which left her on the ground and fighting to get back to 6th place. Pedersen rejoined to take 17th in the end after that first turn fall. But Megan Rutledge was the country mile out front. The battle, though, was for 3rd place after Natalie Kane got into 2nd. And it was the likes of Van der Ven, Laya, Pampamaya Pikoto that duked it out in the closing stages, with Van der Ven just crossing the line ahead of everybody else. But that was the moment that Fontanesi felt. Just not got her head screwed on in this first race, the defending champion, Chiara Fontanesi. As Marianne Veenstra eventually came home in 11th place on the 149 from the Netherlands. But Megan Rutledge, though, in a class of her own out there on track. And Borchers there, the 111, came home in 10th. But Nancy Van der Ven did a good job. Fend off the hard charging 110 Steffi Laya on the very last lap. Kim Geisser looking on as the next European champion, FIM Junior World Champion, riding in MX2 this weekend. Flag went out though, and it was a win for the number 66 of Megan Rutledge and Bud Racing Kawasaki, and of course she will be looking to do it all over again a little later on this evening.
Of Qatar for the 2014 MXGP season
Right, here we are then. Megan Rutledge, winner in moto number 1. Natalie Kane second, Van der Ven third, Laia Pampamai Picotto was 5th. Fontanesi, Lancelot and Nachera, your top 8th places on the Suzuki. 9th for Anne Borchers, Justine Charoux was 10th. Marion Wiestra, Emily Dahl, Jeanette Vage, Virginie Gaumont, Joanna Miller, Kimberly Braun, taking us down to 16th position. And then it was Simonova, Pettersson, 18th in the end. Josta, Muller, the top point scorers. Nothing in the end for Gurieva. A little bit of track work going on in anticipation of FIM MX2 Motocross World Championship MX action. Just trying to put on enough without making it too slick. For the MX2 guys, of course, they will get a sighting lap, remember. Liam Evans, almost as famous as his old man, Stefan. 10-time world champion, of course. 101 Grand Prix victories, a country mile ahead of everybody else. Tony Cairoli currently second in that all-time win list, with 63 Grand Prix victories under his belt. The lights of Qatar, though, a lot brighter than they were 12 months ago. More visibility out on track. Great opportunity for local Qatari kids as well to ride 4 wheels around this circuit. The QMMF, you know, you've got to give them a lot of credit for the work they're doing out here. All thanks to Mr. Nasser Khalifa Al Attaya, the president of the QMMF, general manager of the LaSalle International Circuit here, which incidentally is the only circuit in the region with FIA and FIM homologation licenses. So, of course, next week, the MotoGP boys are here for their final test, and then a couple of weeks later, the bright lights of Qatar will once again stage the opening round of World Championship MotoGP. Nicky Hayden, Valentino Rossi, Jorge Lorenzo, all those guys will be out here in the next couple of days or so for their own shakedown test. One of them, 2 of them might even be here this evening watching on anxiously, because they're all friends with the top guys in motocross. So I wouldn't be surprised if you do see one or two of those faces here later on. New addition for MX2 and MXGP, the Foxhead Whole Shot Award. We'll talk more about that a little later on. But it's points and money on the line at the end of the season. Obviously MX, the Women's Motocross World Championship just over a few moments ago. Just recap in terms of the placing. Obviously it was a flying start for Megan Rutledge, grabbed the whole shot and never looked back, the Australian, after breaking lower leg, top of her ankle just a few weeks ago. Was told 8 weeks. Didn't stop her though, did it? The number 66 came home a clear winner ahead of the number 44 HM Plant KTM of Natalie Kane of Northern Ireland, getting her World Championship off to a flying start as well. Number 85, Nancy van der Ven, coming home in 3rd place. And Nancy van der Ven finished 5th last year. Did pick up a 3rd. That was her first visit to the podium on the check round in Moto number 1. Followed that up with a 5th, which was clearly her best overall finish of the season last year. So already coming here, having prepared a lot through the winter, but finding it hard. The young teenager juggling her time between studies at school. She only really gets Wednesday afternoon off to go riding. That's when the Dutch circuit's open. Special dispensation from the school to be allowed to be able to do that. So her back really against the wall compared to the top girls that are at the very sharp end. The likes of Livia Lancelot, Chiara Fontanesi, of course, our race 1 winner, Megan Rutledge and Natalie Kane, to name but a few. Six rounds for the ladies in this 2014 season. Of course, a lot to look forward to from our side as well. VIP area just over there at turn 1. Just on the infield. Jorge Viejas, the Deputy FIM President. Other distinguished guests over there as well. What's going through the mind of Chiara Fontanesi at the moment, and able to challenge for the win. Far too many mistakes for the defending world champion. Riding a little bit injured. After a crash last night, although generally okay. Just not able to get ahead into the right frame of mind. She slipped and slid her way around the circuit here in the first moto. Right, back in about 15 minutes time then for FIM MX2 Motocross World Championship action on MXGP TV.